Hi everyone, my name is Latanya and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, SmartieStyle. I am a 5th grade teacher in Southern California and the 2014-2015 school year will mark the 10th year that I've been teaching. And I loved YouTube and watching YouTube videos, so I thought it would be fun to commemorate this year by starting my own YouTube channel that is primarily geared towards teachers, but really out there for anyone that is interested. So the first video I'd like to share with you this day is just a classroom tour video. This summer, with the help of my parents and my younger brother, I redid my whole classroom. I was ready for a change and the opportunity presented itself. So I redid my classroom with the help of a company called SmartieStyle. So I'm going to share with you how my classroom turned out using the stuff that I was able to get from that company. And I hope this is the first of many videos to come, and I hope that teachers really find something valuable from this channel, because I'm sure, as you all know, teaching is a lot of fun and it's a great job to have, but it is also a very demanding job and it's very easy for you to lose yourself in teaching. So I want to always try and focus on keeping a certain sense of style about myself while I teach, a certain sense of balance in my teaching profession, as well as just teaching with passion in general. So I hope you enjoy this video and I hope to see you soon. Bye. All right, welcome everyone to my classroom. The first thing that I'm showing you right now is a sign that I made, and the reason that I'm showing you this is because this is an example of what I was able to use from the collection that I purchased from the company SmartieStyle that I mentioned in the intro to this video. So I purchased a collection or a package called Chalkboard Sign, and it basically comes with a lot of pre-made materials such as this door sign that you can either edit to your liking or just print as they have it made. So anything that you see in the classroom that has this chalkboard look to it is a part of that package that I purchased. So this is also what I used to help me decide what the colors I wanted to be, or what color scheme I wanted for my classroom. So since it was based off of a chalkboard, which is black and white, I chose black, white, red, and gray. So those are the colors that you will see throughout. So as I turn around, I'm just going to show you a vision of what the classroom looks like if you are standing at the front door. So if you're standing at the front door and you're looking straight ahead, this is what you would see. So you're looking directly at the writing wall and then my teaching desk that's in the front of the classroom. And then if you pan around the classroom, you can see that all the bulletin board walls and borders are all the same. That is a piece of advice that I followed from SmartieStyle. And at first I was a little nervous about doing that because I'd never made all my walls one color and never used the exact same border on every single wall. But I actually do like it, and I think I prefer it to having alternating colors and alternating borders on different walls. The tables are arranged in groups of 4, and I have 8 groups total, and there is one random group of 5 because that was the best way I can get all the desks to fit in here. And they're arranged in groups of 4 for Kagan strategies. And then on top of each group, you can see that there's a table sign. And these table signs were made for me. They were a part of the SmartieStyle collection that I purchased. So I didn't have to make these. I didn't have to edit these. These were already done for me. And the nice thing about it is if you look back here at this sign that says table 8, the signs that initially came with the package only went from tables 1 through 7. And since I have 8 groups, I really needed one that said table 8. And I tried to make one on my own using the template that they provided, but I just couldn't figure it out. So I emailed them to ask them to help me out or tell me what I was doing wrong. And they actually just made it for me. So I thought that was really great of them. So that's the basic look of my classroom. So now I'll turn you around and show you the first board. This board is to the left when you enter. And this is just an information board. So this just has information that generally will stay here for the whole school year. With the exception of the calendar, obviously it doesn't really change. I don't switch this board out. And it's just stuff that students or I would want to refer to. The first thing that I'm going to show you is something that I purchased off of Teachers Pay Teachers. And it's a 1 minute until dismissal checklist. So it's just 5 quick things that you want students to be thinking about as they're packing up. So just making sure they have all their belongings, making sure they've checked under their desk for trash, around their desk, making sure they fill out their binder reminders, collecting broken dull pencils, and lastly, if they had a classmate that helped them out today, to be sure to say thank you to that classmate. Next to that, I'm going to put our birthday chart. And that Post-it note is there to remind me that I need to laminate that little sign still. And then over here is a tracking chart that I'm going to use for a new management system that I'm going to start this year called Smartie Points. And it's just basically going to encourage students to stay organized, making sure they come to school prepared. And it's based on gaming dynamics, the way that video games are designed. And I got this idea from a teacher in Northern California named Megan Ellis, who teaches middle school. And she uses this with their middle schoolers. And her husband designed this, so I'm going to try it out this year and see how it goes. And depending on how the channel goes, if you want more details about how this works, I would be more than happy to share that with you in another video. And then underneath this board is just a cabinet, and on top of the cabinet are things that students would just also need to have access to very quickly. So this basket here is stuff that needs to go to the office, so students will just drop that in there, or drop whatever they need sent to the office in the morning. And then if they need to turn in work that is late because they were absent or they're just turning in work late, they'd put it here. And then you can see these two signs here. This is just another example of what comes with, or what came with the collection from Schoolgirl Style. Now these did not say send to the office or student inbox, they were blank, but they give you a lot of editable material, so I typed that on there myself because I needed two labels to say that. Then they have their own stapler, tape dispenser. Fifth graders are old enough to fill out their own tardy pass. There's a student who fills out health passes for me should someone need to go to the nurse, so those are there. A container for pens to do that, and then their Kleenexes. So that's that area. I'm going to turn this way. This that I'm showing you right now, this is something that I purchased this year. I'm really excited about it because I think it's going to help this area of the classroom stay a little bit more organized. And I initially bought it because of these little containers that are at the very top. So there's about 5 of these, and what I want to use those for is to store my classroom tickets in. So my behavior system is based on tickets, and the tickets have categories. So if a student didn't turn in their homework on time, they'd pull a homework ticket. If they didn't turn in their classwork on time, they'd pull a classwork ticket, and so on. And in years past, what would happen is the students would come over to the counter, fill out their ticket, and then by the end of the day, there would just be tickets everywhere, and it would be disorganized because they wouldn't put the tickets back where they belonged. So I figured if I bought containers to put the tickets in, then it should kind of help with that problem, because it would just really kind of bother me that it was so messy over here by the end of the day. You can either buy this unit with all these storage compartments inside of it, or you can just buy the unit itself. So I chose to buy it with the storage compartments, and it does make it a little bit more expensive when you do that. The 2 middle ones I chose to use to put scissors in, and then extra dry erase markers in, because we always need those. And then these 4 trays just house different types of paper. So this one has line paper, this one here has graph paper, this has printer paper, and then this one here has some good old school brown paper that we use every once in a while. And then on the side of this, as an option, I don't know if you can see, but there's a wire rack hanging off the side. That doesn't come with the unit, but you can choose to buy it. And then what I'm going to leave here, or leave there, is just this red folder titled Since You've Been Gone. So this will be absent work that I'll put. So if a student is absent, I'll put whatever they missed in here with the due date on it. And when they return, they'll just know to check this folder, grab their work, and then they'll know when it's due. So again, this was blank off of Schoolgirl Style, and this is what I chose to type on it. So it is editable, and you can customize it. So that's what I put on that side. And then there's another one on this side. This is just for extras. So anytime I make copies, I'll always make a few extra copies for the students. So I'll put those in here. If a student ever needs an extra one, they know where to find it. And then the other thing I will say about this unit is that it did not come with these 4 red baskets. It did come with 4 red baskets, or let me back up. It did not come with these 4 red baskets. It came with 4 baskets that were different colors. And the colors that it came with did not match my overall color scheme, and I knew it was going to bother me. So I bit the bullet and I bought another set of just straight red baskets. And initially I thought I only need 4 of them, and you could only buy them in sets of 12, and I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing with all those extra baskets. But luckily I did find a use for them to kind of help me stay organized. So in this drawer, I just took all the extra baskets that came along with that set of 12 that I bought, and I have now organized all the supplemental materials for our language arts program. Those two baskets are social studies, and then that one down there is science, and there's some more back there that couldn't quite fit in the front. So I was happy about that because it worked out, and I was afraid that I had wasted money a little bit, but I did find a use for them. And then the ones that the unit actually came with are in here. So initially it came with a green one, a blue one, a yellow one, and then there is a fourth red one that I can't remember where I put right now. But as you can see, these colors do not go with my color scheme, so I didn't want them out. So I use them in my supply drawer to just organize random things. So sheet protectors, extra post-it notes and labels, different types of tape. So that's what I ended up using those for. And so I'm glad I found something to do with them and they weren't just sitting around. Over here is my mail station. So this unit with different shelves, these are actually student mailboxes. I still need to label the mailboxes themselves. On top of the unit is a basket that says Postmaster or Postmasters, and these are students whose job it is to take whatever I put in that basket and file in their mailboxes. So it's typically going to be announcements that needs to be sent home, graded work that needs to go home. So they'll just come over when they have free time and they'll check the basket, and they know if there's something in there, they'll just file them in the appropriate mailboxes for me. And then next to that is a container of the supplies that they would need to do that job. So staple removers, paper clips, stamps in case I need a paper to be stamped for some reason. And then students pick up their mail on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday they'll go to their mailbox, they'll grab their red folder that I provide for them, they'll take whatever's in there, stick it in their red folder, and then they'll pack up and go home. And then on Thursday they'll come back with their empty red folder and just put their empty red folder back in their mailbox. And that's how I do mail in the classroom. If it's a test, I send tests home right away, though I don't just stick those in the mailboxes because I know parents and students want to see those sooner rather than later. So that is my mail system. Over here, I'm just going to quickly show you my science bulletin board, just so that you can see that the collection that I bought from Schoolgirl Style also comes with bulletin board headings. So they give you every letter of the alphabet. And you can either have chosen this font, which is the one that I liked because it had that chalkboard look to it, but they also had the option of choosing a font that had more of a cursive look to it. So that just is another example of what you would get. And then if you turn this way, this is my student behavior chart. So these numbers that you see, these are actually calendar numbers from the Chalkboard Charm collection, but I'm just using them as student numbers. And so when a student is told to pull a ticket, they do fill it out at the counter, but then they'll bring their ticket back here and they'll stick it behind their number. So if I'm student number 6 and I'm pulling a ticket, I'll fill it out, put my name, the date, right on the back what the situation was as far as why I pulled the ticket, and then I'll come over here and I'll stick it behind my number. And the ticket will just stay there for about a week or so depending on when they pulled the ticket, and then every Tuesday I pull all the tickets from behind the numbers. They get tallied, and then I send home a little notification to parents telling them how many tickets, if any, their child pulled that week. And then the parent signs off saying that they've seen it, and then I save all the tickets and all the signed reports just in case a parent ever has a concern. So that's the behavior system that I use here in the chart. Down next to that are 4 red milk crates that I got from Target. The great news is that we're getting a class set of Chromebooks for our classroom this year. The disappointing part is that we're not getting a charging unit as of yet. So I went on Pinterest to see how other teachers were storing class sets of Chromebooks, and several teachers look like they are storing them in hanging file folders because Chromebooks really aren't that heavy. So my plan is to put about 10 hanging file folders in each of these crates and then putting 1 Chromebook in each hanging file folder. I'm kind of excited because I think it'll work really well. I'll be able to loop the cords from the Chromebooks through the holes and then plug them into a power strip and then charge them all at once. So that's what those 4 crates are for. And then next to that, a lot of you saw this on Instagram. This is my cute little chevron storage ottoman that I actually got for free. I didn't really have to pay for this at all. The company that I ordered the storage unit from also had a special where if you spent so much money, you could get $50 credit towards merchandise of your choice from their company. So I chose to order this ottoman, which was about $50, and I chose it because it has chevron stripes on it, and I love chevron stripes, and it's cute. I didn't really have a plan for it when I first bought it, but I knew I would find a way to use it. And basically how I'm using it is just storing dictionaries and thesauruses that students would need to use at any given moment. So that's what's in there. Those of you that are concerned, don't worry. I will be Scotch guarding it because I know it is white and it can get dirty. But I don't really plan for students to be coming back here sitting on it so much as just grabbing things out of it. But I will Scotch guard it just in case. And then moving right along, this is my kidney table. So this is where I meet with my Title I students or any group of students that I need to do some sort of reteaching or small group lesson with. I usually try and keep the groups down to 4 or 5 just so that it doesn't become, you know, a little chaotic back there, because the bigger the group, the less effective it is. And then this red chair here I got from IKEA. There's a tabletop dry erase board. I got this from CM a few months ago, several months ago actually. And then there's just another red basket from that set of 12 that I bought that I'll just store my materials in right there. And then next to that, this is my collection of picture books. Now, I do have a classroom library, and this is kind of separate from that. These are all picture books that are separated by months, and it goes from August to May because those are the months that we are in school. And the reason that they are separated by month is because each of these books corresponds to something that's happening in that month. So each of these bins have a calendar list in it that kind of gives a fun fact. So some of the things on this list are historical events. Some of them are just fun facts. And so there's a book in here that'll correspond to most of these. Not all of them. I don't have a picture book for everything that's on the list, but I do have one for a lot of them. So for example, in September, I know there's a Grandparents' Day. So somewhere in here is a picture book about grandparents. And what I do is I take all these books out, I line them up against the whiteboard here, and they're out for the month. And when a day comes and there's a fun fact and I have a book that goes with it, I will try my hardest to read that book to the students. But if I will point out the book to the students so that they know it's there and they can kind of check it out on their own when they have some time. You'd be surprised, 5th graders do still love picture books and read alouds. I mean, I'm an adult and I love picture books and read aloud, so they do still enjoy it as well. And then when the month is over, I would take all the books from September out, I would put them back in the basket, and then I would move on to October and take all the October books out. So that's what these books are here. I just recently stored them back here because they used to be on the bookshelf behind my desk. But I have found that because I love picture books, I tend to buy a lot of them, so I was quickly running out of space in my desk area, so I decided to move them over here this year. And then all the labels that you see came from, of course, Schoolgirl Style. I think these are actually calendar headings, and I just used them to label the baskets because they were already made for me, so that made it nice and easy. And then next to that is my teaching corner, so I'll just kind of try and pan around it. I don't spend any time here during the school day because I'm always at the front of the room, but I still like it to look nice and be personable and have pictures, so I do include personal things back here. This basket right here, this is my Mrs. Mommy basket. My mom does come and help once a week, so this is just her personal basket with things in it that she uses to help me out. And then on these bookcases, these are just all things that I need to have reference to or have the ability to reference, but I don't necessarily use them every day. So there are TEs that I need, but I'm not currently in that unit. District binders that I've used and refer to often. Picture books that I use for specific lessons. And then CDs or DVDs that I use for a variety of purposes are down there. This little quote here I really liked, so I put it up. It also came from Schoolgirl Style. And then this year I actually brought my diplomas into the classroom. I've never done that before, and in fact my undergraduate degree wasn't even framed, and so I knew I wanted to bring it into my classroom this year, so I had it framed over the summer. The kids know that I went to college, obviously, but they've never had any sort of visual representation of the fact that I did go to college, so I thought I'll put them up so they can constantly see it and have, you know, college on their mind and know that I value education. I'm not just talking the talk about it. So I went to the University of Puget Sound for my undergraduate degree in Tacoma, Washington, and Claremont Graduate University for my teaching credential, my master's degree. So those are hanging there. I always have a calendar of Audrey Hepburn because I love her. And then the most exciting part of my area back here is that I have my very own teaching computer for the first time. So there that is. It's brand new, and I'm excited to have it. And then this little folder here I got from Barnes & Noble, and I will just be putting reference papers in here that I look at a lot. It's not in there yet, but there will be like the rainy day schedule, the library schedule, computer lab schedule, things like that. Then we have 3 desktop student computers and a printer. I'm not sure how much the computers will get used this year because we are now getting Chromebooks. So, but it is nice to know that they are here should I need them. And then this area here, this is my favorite part of the classroom. This is the library, and this is where I invested the most money over the summer. My focus is really just trying to foster a love of reading in my class and in my students. And so I really wanted to create a library that was just inviting and kind of drew students over and made them want to be over here in the hopes that they'll stumble upon some books that they're like, oh, I'll pick that book up and read it. So most of the stuff that you see here came from IKEA. So this red chair, I was going to get a beanbag chair initially, but then I saw this at IKEA, so I decided to get that instead. The pillow that is with it also came from IKEA. These 2 bookcases, this one here and this one there, came from IKEA. This cute little red rug came from IKEA, and I'm not sure what my iPad is doing and why it's zooming in and out, so I'm sorry about that. And then this darling little chevron stripe chair, because I love chevron stripes, that did not come from IKEA. That came from Target, and I was lucky enough to catch that on sale. But the red throw that is on the chevron stripe chair, that did come from IKEA. As well as this plant, this plant, these 2 plants in that frame. The purpose of this frame is I am going to try and read current children's literature along with them. So in the frame, I will just announce what book I am currently reading, just so that they can see I also read too. So that's what that is for. This chart here I got off of Teachers Pay Teachers, and this is how I'm going to track AR progress this year. I will still set individual goals for students in terms of how many points they need to earn based on their level, but I am going to use this to track and encourage students to read beyond their points. So there will be some incentives for students who get to 25 points, 50 points, 75 points, and 100 points. And I chose this because it takes up a lot less space, and I just think that it will be a little bit easier for me to manage. So that's what that is. This here is just a bulletin board set that I've had for a while that teaches about literary genres, because I want to make sure students understand the difference between things like realistic fiction or, fantasy books, so they really understand and get a sense of what they like to read, because I think making sure you're reading what you like really influences whether or not kids enjoy reading. So that is my library. And so the books are also arranged by genres. And then these things here that you see, I got this straight off of Pinterest. These are just shelf markers. So when student 11 wants a book, they'll grab their little stick. They'll put it in the spot where they pulled a book from. And then I'll know who has a book out. Actually, I have one pulled out already. So let's say student number 7 had a book. They know it goes approximately back there. And then if I see that 7 there for a while, I will know to ask a student 7 whether or not they turn in their library book yet. So I made those with the help of my friend Patricia Carrillo. I got to use a Cricut for the first time, and now I am a believer in the Cricut. So again, that's my library. This is probably the part of the classroom that I'm most proud of and like the most. And then finally, wrapping back around, those are the pom-poms that I put on Instagram also. This is the front of the room, and this table here is one of my favorite things also. I bought this off of Craigslist. I almost got this table that is just about in brand new condition. Almost got it for $20, but then when I went to pick it up, the girl realized that she had underpriced it, so I spent a little bit more than $20, but really not that much more. Still less than what I would have paid had I bought this table brand new. And then this chair here, I bought this from Target. I love the look of it. It's just kind of like an antique library chair, I think is what it's actually called. And then everything else is just stuff that I would need mostly during the day, like I need to have at the ready. So paper clips, pens, dry erase markers, erasers, workbooks that I work out quite a bit. So that's my teaching desk in the front. Those are name tags that I'll be using. And then if I wrap around here just to finish up, this is just a little table that has my Kagan timer. We do read How Full Is Your Bucket? So we do have a classroom bucket, so that's their classroom bucket, and these are their marbles. So anything we do something well anytime we do something well as a class, like get a compliment, we get a drop in our bucket. So their goal is to try and fill up their bucket for a classroom privilege. And then looking up here, it's just a sign that I really want kids to see every day as they exit. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken, so I just decided to hang that there. And then this little bag here is just where we keep our recyclables. So that is it. I feel like I was talking really fast because I didn't want this video to be too long. But to wrap it up, I'm just going to give you one last view of the classroom. And again, I really just want to thank my family for helping me out so much and tolerating all the craziness that was me redoing my classroom. I want to thank all my friends on Facebook and Instagram who were just as excited as I was with redoing my classroom. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.